harder. That season 2 finale was dope, man. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Yuta pulling in, that was so cold. Oh my gosh, he's so tough. But I'm not gonna tell me why this man pulled the coldest and like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're dope and all, you're back for after like a year. Bro, you sold the entire season. He's not even needed anymore. The entire incident is already over. Why is he here? He came at perhaps the worst possible time, and while it makes sense story-wise, because, you know, stakes and Shibuya and everything, I still do not like it, bro. Like, bro, you cannot just come here so casually and just hype yourself up after all this time. After all the deaths and destruction in Shibuya. You were right there the whole time. Alright, let me focus. We gotta get into the topics. We're gonna go through this fight by fight in all excruciating detail. So just bear with me for a sec, if you will. Or 20 minutes, however long this video is gonna be, I don't know. So now, I present to you how Yuta sold Shibuya. Or something like that, I don't know what I'm gonna call this video. No, but seriously, they really have the gall to put this man in the intro at the last episode. Like, come on. Might as well start this video by talking about the fight that kicked Shibuya into high gear, the Mechamaru vs Mahito fight. Now, to be honest, Kokichi was doing pretty well during most of this fight, up until the domain expansion. It was kinda GG's after that, I'm not even gonna lie. Let's just be real. Him and Yuta teaming up would have made things go by a lot quicker. I don't think they would have been able to exercise Mahito per se, especially with like all the environmental damage and stuff that they'd have to account for, and the fact that Kenjaku was right there to throw the lob, but, you know, it's the thought that counts, right? It still would have made more of an effort. Plus, we already know how this fight ended anyway. Bro got packed. Yuta could have been there to maybe prevent that at least. They could have escaped. Low-key, I'm about to skip a lot of unnecessary, like, filler fights, I guess. Like, let's be real, Yuji almost completely had this battle. It was barely even close. Don't get me started on the fact that if Gojo wasn't in this episode, this is like easily the worst episode of Shibuya by far. It's not even that the animation got ghosted or blurred or anything. I just really hated the pacing of this entire fight. And apparently it's the same in the manga too, which must have been awful. I'm so sorry, manga readers. I have to read this week to week. That must have been terrible. I'm not even gonna lie to you. When people say that One Piece episodes are badly paced, this is what I think of. And as an avid One Piece watcher myself, yeah, this was honestly worse than One Piece fight pacing. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm being so serious when I say that. Boy, if Gojo was not in this episode, I would not be a fan of this episode at all. There was also that Nobara backstory that took up like half of that episode that one time, but you know, I still think the regular Nobara scenes were done pretty well. So for the most part, I could give her a pass. Bro, Gojo was absolutely cooking the disaster curses on his own. I don't think he would have needed Yuta's help for this at all. But let's just skip to the ceiling, shall we? Or, you know, even the transfigured humans on the train part, because that was kind of the thing that put Gojo in this whole frenzy anyway, making him lose track of all the people in Shibuya and all, of having to face the disaster curses at the same time. I think Yuta being here would have saved a lot of pedestrians and collateral damage in general, while, you know, Mahito and Choso were absolutely filleting everybody in the area. I think that would have been a pretty big help. Hell, Gojo might not even have to have used his domain expansion, especially for that short amount of time, which of course means that his energy wouldn't have drained as fast. Because he didn't have to use his domain, he wouldn't have been tired, taking his breath, and he wouldn't have been caught off guard by the prison room. Even if Fate Ghetto's plan went as usual and, you know, he still caught Gojo off guard, because obviously I think that would play out how it is, unless, you know, Yuta absolutely soloed Fate Ghetto off screen or something, or just like really quick with one slash. That would be crazy if he did that, wouldn't it? I still feel like if Yuta was here, he could have quickly gotten Gojo's rebound, or just like, you know, shook him out of his disarray, because then he would have locked in and been able to escape, teleport, warp away, or whatever. And we wouldn't be in the entire Shibuya incident situation in the first place. I think this would have wrapped up a lot more quicker. Moving on to a not so clean cut close fight, you know, Haruta killing Ichiji. This would have been a lot easier if, you know, Yuta was just there to like one-shot him, which could have inevitably solved a lot of problems and like the mass destruction of Shibuya and a lot of people in the area later on in the story, but we'll get to that later. Man, Yuji was really killing it in this fight. I'm not gonna lie, he did not need Yuta's help at all. So moving on. Yeah, this guy. Who's this? Nabito. Yeah. Maki. I lost my train of Okay. Bro, the one old guy's name tripped me up so much I completely forgot where I was going with this segment, but my point is Toji gone equals good for the most part, except for all those sorcerers probably would have died if it wasn't for Toji's help. So yeah, but yet again, low-key, I'm glad that Yuta stayed out of this battle, because less Toji means less good show, which is bad for consumer, which means good for me. And you know, clearly this would have been good for Ino too, considering that he got retired for the rest of the entire season. Can you really blame the guy though? Low-key, Yuji and Megumi had this battle battle from the locks, Yuta could have spent his time on other battles with higher priority in Shibuya in the meantime. So I'm not really gonna knock him with this one. Good job, Yuji and Megumi. Your only battle that you won like this entire season with like a clear-cut winner, no deaths or anything. Damn, this arc is so dark for no reason. It's not even funny. Let's just keep it a stack. Even if Haruta still has his miracle technique throughout all this, we know he doesn't stand a chance against Yuta. I don't even know how bro survived this long. Nanami took out almost all of his miracles. I'd say it's crazy that Nanami didn't finish the job, but he did enough light work to be fair. Plus he got it back in blood later on in the arc against the transfigured humans right before he died, so I can't complain too much now, can I? A lot would have helped Mei against this smallpox deity, but let's be real, unless Mei was with me in that bed, I don't really care what happens to her. Both rounds that Yuji fought Choso would have been a major help with Yuta, because bro was getting cooked that entire episode, we can't even lie. I'm surprised that Yuji held his own that long though, so you know, props to our MC, I guess. I mean, let's be real, I can't give our boy too much credit here. He did sell the entire arc and only had one win the entire time, but that's more than most characters, so you know, I'll give credit where credit is due. Since Choso basically ends up joining the good guy sign at the end, I think it was probably for the best that Yuta wasn't there, since you know, Choso probably would have gotten packed. With Yuta there, this fight would have gone by way faster. Honestly, Dagon's only like a special grade, right? And he's not even the strongest out of the four, he's like the weakest. This battle wasn't even that one-sided. Nabito's technique alone gave Dagon a run for his money. I think they lasted pretty well. I think mostly when they got to the domain expansion, it was just GG's from that point on. Which in all fairness, for a one-hit technique like a domain expansion, they were still doing pretty well. Even in the domain expansion, when things got bad, they still could have gotten a lot worse. With the domain's one-hit technique, I'm not sure how they survived that long anyway, but Megumi did come in clutch at the end. Honestly, I wouldn't say that Yuta's help was really all that needed until the Go came back. He immediately went to work. There was like no hesitation in sight. As soon as Dagon threw that fish, he knew it was GG's. Obviously, as we all know, Toji low-key had this battle by himself, so I don't really think that Yuta was needed for the most part. It would have been nice to have him in the earlier stages of the battle though. Holding out for longer could have prevented Toji from coming in to begin with, which would have meant that there was less trouble for Megumi later on. Killing Dagon early would have given a lot of time for the sorcerers to get away. Nanami would have been fine, Maki would have been fine and not disappear for the rest of the season. Naobito would have been fine too. Honestly, I don't know if Naobito survived or not, but if he did, that's gotta be rigged. I mean, he could not have more plot armor than Yuji. Bro was literally a burnt toast. Like, there's no surviving from this, right? I mean, it's anime, so who really knows, but still. Luckily, Sukuna came in clutch, so he may or may not be alive. Yuta would have been able to save Yuji, which means that the 2 fingers would not have been fed, and then the 15 fingers wouldn't have been fed, preventing most of the rest of the season. And the 2 girls wouldn't have died, which, you know, I could do with or without, to be honest. Yuta versus 15 finger Sukuna, though, low-key, Yuta's cooked. Nobody's beating Sukuna. Yuta being here to help Megumi would have definitely helped a lot. Bro was getting hoed, let's just keep it a buck. Toji would have got packed way sooner as well, so there's that benefit. Yuta versus Sukuna and Gojo was low-key not even a battle. Like, Yuta gets immediately washed by Sukuna alone. So in favor of past tense, let's just pretend that Jogo was made of quick work of Yuta earlier and all the 15 fingers were not given to Sukuna for the benefit of Shibuya and Yuta's health. Also meaning that Panda and Kusakabe would have got saved from this absolute violation. Shibuya's saved from that gigantic meteor too, which, you know, I guess is kind of like a plus. I'm not even gonna lie, Jogo gets packed either way you slice it. He has to go. That's just an inevitability. I guess we'll be seeing his friends even sooner. You know, stand proud, Jogo. You were stronger, whatever. Haruta being dead prevents Megumi from summoning Maharaga, which means that Sukuna doesn't have to fight him, which means that Shibuya doesn't have to go through even more destruction and death and pain and suffering. Then Sukuna doesn't have to use his kitchen. Everybody wins. Then at the same time, we don't get this god tier animation. But that won't do, so I guess everybody just has to die then. I'll let him cook. This happening also means no breakdown for Yuji, which means that his resolve is still mostly intact. But then yet again, we lose the most important part of this season. You are my special. Like, it just doesn't hit the same, does it? Like, just imagine this without music. Yuta being here to help Nanami also means that his pack is safe, but also if Nanami was still intact from the Jogo incident that would have happened earlier that Yuta would have prevented, it probably wouldn't have gotten this bad to begin with. Meaning that now Yuji does fully have to resolve in order to save everybody else and still continue fighting, because, you know, all of his friends aren't dead. Therefore, making his fight with Todo a lot easier. Plus, if Yuta was there, don't even get me started, it would have been an absolute bloodbath. Mahito, you stand no chance, my guy, I'm sorry. You're a dope villain, but at this point your pack has to be taken. But yet again, you're not as hateable without all these packs, are you? That's a sacrifice we'll have to be willing to take as a fandom, to be honest, guys. Nobara is also safe too or whatever, so that's cool, I guess. Me personally, I could care less about Nobara. That's just me though. She was cooler in season 1 than 2. She could have done way more. They just needed one last excuse for Nanami to have a cool battle before he went out. Mahito being out means that Todo doesn't have to sacrifice his technique, which means that he still has actual story purpose. This entire battle goes a lot quicker too, since Mahito doesn't have to do a pointless transformation anyway. Yuta being there would have been nice because without Mahito being absorbed, Fate Geto wouldn't have been able to start the culling games. At least I think that's what he did with the transformation technique at the end, right? And that could have been stopped by Yuta doing absolutely anything. Maybe even one-shotting the villain. That would have been cool. Especially since all the other Kyoto students were completely useless in this battle anyway. Yuta would also be saving Miwa from this absolute violation of the strongest move being used on her. Seriously, what did my girl do to deserve this? She's done nothing wrong. She also wouldn't have as much trouble taking out Urame and Fate Geto as he did if Yuta was there either. Of course, they both would have still lost considering that they can't top curse manipulation. Yo, actually, that's a crazy point. Yo, if Yuta could do curse manipulation, that guy's actually broken. I don't remember if he did that in the movie or not. I don't know if he does it in the manga later, but yo, I don't understand how he isn't like top 1 in the series if he can do curse manipulation. I mean, I guess training is a factor. I'm yapping. Yap demon. My bad. Everybody also wouldn't have been as frozen easily if Yuta was there, I think. If Yuta would have gotten frozen too, to be honest, they all would have been cooked. Luckily, Yuki did come in clutch. But not really, though, considering that she didn't actually fight the villains. She just kind of saved everybody and, like, just teased herself for the next arc, I guess. I don't even know why she was there. Yuta being there to stop the transformation technique would have been awesome, though. I can't even lie. You could have prevented a lot of societal damage, man. But overall, what's done is done. I can't hate too much, right? Yuta, you did save that one girl, and you have one curse count on your entire season, so I guess you've done more than half the other characters in Shibuya, right? I can't really complain that much. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little notes ramble about me just like talking about how Yuta sold the entire season. I just think that this brings into perspective how nice it would have been to have Yuta around, you know? This would have really helped a lot, man. Either way, I'm looking forward to the Yuji extermination arc or whatever it's called, and like the culling games in season 3. That's gonna be hype. Let me know if you guys want more content like this or just JJK content in the future. But yeah, that's probably gonna be my last or first video of the year 2024, so I hope y'all enjoy, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one, hopefully. All right, that's it. Bye bye.